Hi everyone! Last week, Erin O'Toole became the new leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. And right on schedule, everyone was asking him about his views on abortion, to which he responded point blank that he is a pro-choice MP. However, now the usual suspects, the mainstream media, liberal politicians, activists, are wringing their hands over the fact that he courted the support of social conservatives and is apparently going to enable the opening of the abortion debate because he will allow MPs to raise issues related to conscience rights and allow free votes on those matters. I can't find any evidence of him outright saying that he's going to allow the reopening of the abortion debate. He has said that he will allow ministers and backbenchers to raise the issue of euthanasia, and he also said he would never institute anything like the liberal summer job program thing where organizations asking for funding for the summer jobs program had to check off a box that they were pro-choice or they would be denied funding. So he said he would never violate religious liberties by doing anything like that. And he has also said that he doesn't agree with abortion services being a part of foreign aid funding. So overall, his stance is pro-choice, but with some concessions that will probably please the pro-life side. And I think it's fair to say that he's being tolerant and inclusive of a diversity of opinions. Now, I think it's worth noting also that the pro-life lobby is well organized. That's undeniable. They have retreats, camps, training sessions, all designed with the understanding of a common goal. And so they are mobilized, and that is how they have so much influence, not only within the Conservative Party, but in other places as well. So that brings me to what I actually want to talk about today: social conservatism. Derek Sloan was one of the two socially conservative leadership candidates in the recent race, alongside Leslyn Lewis. Last week, following Erin O'Toole's election, Liberal MP Pam Damoff released a statement condemning Derek Sloan as a misogynist, racist, and bigot, and urged O'Toole to kick Derek Sloan out of caucus and disallow him from ever being a conservative candidate in the future. Damoff argued that Derek Sloan, who again is an elected MP for the riding of Hastings-Lennox and Addington in Ontario, should be removed from public life because, for one, he said, in regards to Chief Public Health Officer Theresa Tam, does she work for China or Canada? Which people construed to be evidence of his racism and bigotry rather than just geopolitics. And Derek Sloan also said, which, Pam Damoff has a problem with, that a lot of the arguments used to defend abortion currently were historically the same arguments used to defend slavery. And he also does not agree with Bill C-8, the bill to ban conversion therapy. Now, what we have to understand about Bill C-8 and the people who criticize it is we're not talking about defending the practice of sending a gay kid away to a camp that will make them straight. I don't know of any Canadian politician who is defending that. We're talking about how Bill C-8 is written in a way that includes gender identity, which can be interpreted to mean that if you don't indulge a child by letting them take hormones or puberty blockers or get surgeries as they please if they claim that they're transgender, under this bill, you could be trying to convert them to a cisgender person, and therefore you would be in violation of Bill C-8 because you are denying their identity. It's even in the bill, definition of conversion therapy. Conversion therapy means a practice, treatment, or service designed to change a person's sexual orientation to heterosexual or gender identity to cisgender. So let's say you're a health professional, you get this young girl come into your office and she doesn't like to wear dresses and she prefers playing with trucks, and she seems to think she's a boy. Maybe at school they somehow put in her head that she's probably a boy. Well, you're not allowed to dissuade her from that. You have to indulge that idea. Otherwise, you're practicing conversion therapy and trying to make her, you're trying to convert her into a cisgender person. So that's the kind of potential scenario that we're worried about here. And it was actually a women's rights organization called CAUSEBAR, Canadian Women's Sex-Based Rights, that first brought this to my attention earlier this year. So circling back to Pam Damoff's statement, my first thought was this is just strange, why do you care? Think about your own party before you try to dictate what's happening in other parties. But then I realized, she sees this as a free opportunity to look morally superior to conservatives. But the implication of what Pam Damoff said in her statement is actually really quite serious and scary. And, her implication is that if you are a socially conservative Christian, you are not allowed to have a voice, and you don't belong in public life, even if you were elected. And although she didn't say it outright, in these people's eyes, it's even worse that Derek Sloan is a white male. He's a white male, socially conservative Christian, which is basically the most undesirable thing you can be in Canadian society. Now, full disclosure, my relationship to social conservatism is this. I'm not with social conservatives when it comes to their stance on abortion. I'm pro-choice, always have been. Been in some heated debates about the subject, but have not ever wavered on that issue. I'm also not religious, so I see marriage as just a commitment and a reason to celebrate rather than having anything to do with God or religion. I never even wanted to get married. It's something I never cared about, but I got married to my husband this summer because I figured, let's just have a fun party. And, a wedding would be a nice entrenchment of our commitment and it would bring people together, so let's do it. It is really the abortion issue, though, that makes or breaks a social conservative. And so I would never fit the label of social conservative, despite agreeing with them on quite a few things. So where I am with the social conservatives is I think schools, mostly public schools, are teaching outlandish things about gender identity. I also believe in religious liberty. So, for example, I don't think that Catholic schools should be forced or shamed into flying a pride flag. Just this June, when it was Pride Month, a Waterloo Region Catholic school designed an alternate flag to fly during the month. And I'm not religious, but I quite liked this flag. It had a nice Bible verse. It just looked very inclusive with the different colors, the design of it. And so I actually thought it was quite a nice flag. But, the students and people cited in the CBC article about this, they were complaining that this is just so insulting because it's not the pride flag. It's not the rainbow pride flag. And what's interesting is in some circles, the pride flag is not even enough anymore. Among a lot of people, they prefer the rainbow pride flag that is intercut with kind of a triangular design of black and brown to represent black and brown people in the LGBTQ community. So I guess, the previous rainbow flag was not inclusive enough, didn't lift up the voices of black and brown people enough or whatnot. Now not even the pride flag is enough for some people. I also see too many people spending their lives watching violent internet pornography and engaging in non-committal relationships where people just dispose of the people they're dating so easily. Among my generation, at least, that is seen as normal, when it's really quite sad and destructive to everyone involved. And when you say that, people label you a prude, a pearl clutcher, you're not open-minded. But social conservatives are kind of the only ones that don't care about being called those things. I don't care either, though. And another issue for social conservatives is the traditional family structure. So they will venerate this idea of a nuclear family with children where the father is the breadwinner and the mother stays home and is a homemaker. I respect diversity of choice, so I don't see any moral implications as to whether, you have this structure or if you have a stay-at-home dad and a working mom, or if both parents work, or if they decide not to have children, etc. People will do what's best for them, and the dad, breadwinner, mom, homemaker thing isn't realistic or even desirable for perhaps the majority of people. So as someone who is with the SOCONs on some issues, but not so much with others, I see this attempt by Pam Damoff and others before her to silence the voices of social conservatives as an affront to democracy, and especially because she's trying to get them removed from public life. But, social conservatives, they are raising awareness on issues that are worth talking about, and we should appreciate a diversity of opinions. I'm Lindsay Shepherd with True North. Thanks so much for watching.